for us?
We're going to the LSTT relationship lecture.
Yeah, that one last week was good. What you got for us? What you got for us?
Okay, this one is interesting too. Dear LSTT, I just found out some very disturbing news. Within what I thought was my family tight-knit union, my father, mother, and my 2 sisters and myself, my dad has fathered 2 other children outside of our family. My parents have been married for 20 years, and I inadvertently heard a conversation that took place over the phone with my father and this woman regarding money and child support. That conversation stopped me dead in my tracks. I hate to admit, no one was in the house except my father and me. My mother and sisters were at the mall shopping. I assume my father thought I was with them. He was talking so freely as if she was his wife. I remember him saying that he would give her a little extra money tonight for one of his son's senior trip and how much he misses being with his family. My heart felt like it was being torn from my chest. I'm a senior in high school, and my father just paid for my senior trip as well for spring break. It had dawned on me that my half-brother can be attending the same school that I am attending.
Wow.
Apparently, this woman and her children must live nearby since he said he would give her the money that night. I used to have the highest respect for my father, but I really hate him about now for cheating on my mom and fathering outside children. I want to tell my mother so bad, but I don't even know if she knows. And if she does know, why is she still with my father? Sincerely, what should I do?
Ooh, Lord. Now, that's one of them right there, boy.
What y'all got for what should I do?
I don't know. You know, that, I'm trying to say what the funny thing about it, what I was thinking about, the funny thing I was thinking about, because we would, we do the crossover with bass. And it made me think of that song, Who's Making Love with Your Old Lady? That's what it made me think about. But to overhear a conversation like that is
it's devastating.
Wow. Trace, what you got to say about that?
Well, of course, y'all know how I am. The first thing I would do was go to my father, and I would let him know, I heard you, put it on the table. What's going on, Dad? Because if you don't, I'm going to tell Mom. So at least find out, because a lot of times Mom might already know, and Mom chooses to stay because, unfortunately, sometimes that's just how relationships work. And for whatever reason Mom chose to stay, she might be okay with it. But again, just like last week, we know how I feel about family.
Yeah.
So I believe that once you go to Dad and you let him know, look, man, these are my brothers. We got to figure this out. So I would definitely start off with going to Dad. I didn't realize at first she was such a young girl, because I'm thinking she was an older girl, and I'd have just went and told my mama.
Yeah.
But with her being such
Mama!
As an adult, I would have gone and told my mama. But as a young girl, I think I would start with Dad and then try to if Mom doesn't know, get him to tell.
Let me first say, I sympathize with the young lady for hearing some information like that, because that's got to be, heart-wrenching, to hear all of a sudden, your whole family has, the dynamics have changed, and this man that you may have, really loved and admired, inadvertently blurted out in his house, bragging about something that, you didn't know exists. So, my sympathy and prayers goes out to her, because she's got to be hurting right now. I agree with Tracy on this, because I think you need to let your father know what you heard, and let him know how much it hurt you and how much that's devastating to you to find out that this man that you loved and admired so much, because obviously she did, now that it's turned to a hate. And I don't really think she hates him. I think she's just angry right now, and that she doesn't really hate him. And hopefully that relationship could mend, because, the Bible tells us we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. So we need to work on forgiveness. But he needs to come clean to talk to her. And then, if she wants him to confess to his mother, then he needs to be able to do that. And so some healing can happen. In a lot of cases, she may know it, but if she doesn't, it could change the whole, dynamics of the household because of this. But the husband should have known better. You're at fault for going out to try to do some me and Mrs. Jones, we got a thing going on scenario here. You should stay within your household to teach your family a greater value of what a marriage looks like. Now this young lady may never want to trust a man because she's been so devastated by what the father has done against the mother. And she obviously loves her mother just as much as the father. And so now it has really hurt her. And I pray for her in this situation.
Yeah, because the dynamics of the whole thing, I'm a numbers person. With this, it is sad because she has the utmost respect for her close-knit family. And the fact is, it would have been different if the parents wasn't married for 20 years and the child was 18 versus 22. That happened before the parents got married. Yeah. But now she's sitting there listening like, wait a minute, he a senior in high school, I'm a senior in high school. So dad was creeping with somebody the same time him and mama was making me.
Yeah. And like she said, she could know that guy.
Right.
She could date
that
guy.
Could have dated the guy. We could be going on a class trip together.
Yeah, right, going to prom together.
Right. And it's like, don't you think your child should know this? And the thing to get me, like you two said, she need to confront him. Let him know that you know. That he could be accountable and see what he say. But the thing that really is interesting from reading this, what should I do, young lady? What if the mother knew? And it's like, do she have the right to tell the children that, hey, dad fathered two outside boys? I mean, because they should know.
Heck yeah.
Well, I'm not going to necessarily say that they should know.
If you got brothers after the same age,
hold on, wait a minute. I'm not going to say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but I think that if the parents have made the decision that this is something that they don't want to share at this moment until they get a little bit older, which they are now, I can kind of understanding that because you don't want to cause any conflict in the family until the children are older to understand.
Are you waiting for them to be 40?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I can understand them not telling them before. The problem I have with him is that being so, arrogant to just start talking in his house because he don't think somebody's there. The arrogance of just speaking out. I mean, to me, you've violated the house that you live with in that household, even if they're not there, by speaking about it.
But you know what? I want to assume these are twins because he was trifling. He had two sons out there, too. Right. And so it's like, you got two out there, so you done stepped out one time, and then the second time, and she allowed this. So I see why the daughter's probably like, wait a minute now. I know this is just wrong on every level.
I'm not going to sit there and say because a person has sinned, you should automatically leave a relationship. People have committed adultery since time existed. For those people who can pray about it and work it out, God bless you. The Bible gives us credence that adultery is a way that you can avoid a marriage. But I still say try to work with it if you can. But we're not at that point yet. We're just talking about the young lady and what should be done for her. And so, again, I sympathize with her of what she's going through. And I also say, yes, talk to your father. Let him know about what you heard, how you feel, and what you want from him. I want you to tell mom. I want you to do it. And then find out, from him if mother already knows. Because he'll say, well, she already knew. And then you can say, well, she already knew, then I'm going to tell her that I know.
Exactly.
And so now, you're putting the onus on the people who are supposed to be the adults.
Right.
And so, the kids can learn about, just because a person is a teenager doesn't mean that they're capable of handling a situation like that. You've got to know the mentality of that. Obviously, this girl is a senior in high school, so she's got to be about 17 or 18, and it's affecting her dramatically. And so we never know the mental stability of the person that can handle something. So, the parents can wait a little longer until they know that person is prepared for it.
Well, I think they've waited way too long, first of all, because like you say, children, and if it were me, whether I was the child, the husband, or the wife, I would think that the earlier I could bring that situation in, the better, because the more healthier the relationships would be. Because I know tons of people who have been in that situation before who are resentful of those outside children who don't want to have anything to do with them, and it's not their fault. For all they know, they don't know daddy got another family. So it's the children who are innocent in this situation, and hopefully, I don't know whether I want his wife to know or don't want his wife to know, but there are too many people who are innocent in the situation, and everybody should come clean and lay their cards on the table, because it's not fair to any of those children involved not to have a whole relationship and family with their brothers and or sisters.
Yeah.
So what should I do? We are on a Let's Stay Together talk and suggesting to you, confront your father.
Yeah, not confront. Talk to your father.
Oh, that's the Betty Shabazz that
that's
came out.
Betty Shabazz.
Talk to your daddy. Talk to your daddy.
Daddy.
Hey, we're going to go.